Thank you so much for joining us on The Line on this edition. USC week, right? And of course, I'm always joined by my brother, my partner in crime. And of course, ASU playing the Trojans of USC. You know, nope, we don't think so. No, absolutely not. So,
fight on this. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah. Fight on right there and sit on it too while you're at it.
Exactly.
Well, you know, this is a big game for ASU, right? And of course, what happened the last few weeks with the Oregon loss, UCLA, this heartbreaker at Oregon State. You know, now let's talk about this game because ASU hasn't won in Troy since 1999. I was still in the NFL the last time ASU won in LA. That's a hell of a long time ago. You know, that's the year Barry Sanders actually. No, that's the year Barry Sanders resigned. So that's how long ago that was. Yeah, wow. And he's in the NFL Hall of Fame, so I think it's an indicator of how long the time has been. And of course, ASU last year in a game that we loved, the monsoon in the first quarter, snapped an 11-game losing streak to the Condom guys or Trojans or whatever they're over there in South Central Los Angeles. But you know,
the University of Spoiled Children.
Spoiled Children with the little dollar sign. Yeah. And of course, you know, ASU, of course. Rhino, you said they're reeling. I mean, that's you said that right.
Yeah, I mean,
3 losses in a row.
We talked about ASU's problems, but I mean, USC's not playing their best ball either. I mean, they've come up against a couple. Well, I mean, I don't know if we can call Arizona a tough opponent, but they caught them. But USC caught them on a bad day on the road, and you know, they really, you know, they have losing that game. And then going up against a tough Oregon team last week, I mean,
it's a great game to watch.
Yeah, I know. And
over 100 points.
Yeah, they lost 2. Yeah, they lost 2 in a row in their own right, and this is a trap game for them right now. I believe this is the epitome of a trap game because they're coming off 2 straight losses. They got UCLA, who's very hot right now.
Yeah, they got them before Notre Dame.
And undefeated Notre Dame in the next 2 consecutive weeks. They do not have a bye going into either one of those games. So it's they're facing a couple of their top rivals. They're top rivals in the next couple of weeks. You know, you talk about USC going into this season. You know, they have very, very high expectations. They're ranked #1 in the preseason.
Right.
You know, several disappointing performances starting with that game against Stanford, and it's real. I mean, they were able to reel off a couple wins after that, but you know, they've kind of hit a rough patch in the last couple of weeks against a couple of tough opponents.
Right, and of course, they have not lost 2 games in a row since 2002. Yeah, well, so it's 10 years ago. Well, Pete Carroll's first or second year when that happened. Yeah. And you know, that's going to be talked about all week because, like you mentioned, Rhino, they're at home. You know, they closed the season out with some tough games. You know, they got 2 out of 3 at home, 1 against us. And I agree. You know, UCLA, like you said, 7-2, and they're pretty much sitting in first place right now.
Definitely, I think, especially with that way that offense is rolling right now. They put up 66 points against U of A. They're the real deal, I think, right now. And USC's got. I mean, they need this game really to keep pace in the South, to keep up with UCLA, because you know that matchup with them next week could decide the South. It's very possible.
Let me ask you this question: in looking at the Devil's details on his Lane Kiffin, is he on the hot seat? Because I think he is.
I think so.
Pat Hayden didn't hire him.
Exactly. You were telling me that before the show. That Pat Hayden. I mean, he's not Pat Hayden's guy.
No, he's not. He was Mike Garrett's guy.
A lot of people are kind of fed up with his arrogance, and you know what happened last year with them having such a strong season and not being eligible for the postseason was very frustrating to a lot of people. And you know, I mean, you can break out all the party like there's no postseason shirts you want. That hurt them not being able to go back there. And then with the type of players that they had coming back this year, and the transfer of Silas Redd and the emergence of Marquise Lee, for them to, you know, I just think that they have too much talent, too much going in their direction for them not to compete.
They got the wrong guy.
Not to compete for the Pac-12 title.
They got the wrong guy head coach.
Yeah, they need to get someone in here who's going to maybe not make so many mistakes on the game day and just manage the game a little bit better, because Kiffin is a offensive genius. I mean, we like his his play calling skills are undeniable. But there's a place for that. It's called the offensive coordinator.
Right, exactly. Not the head coach. And contrarily,
especially, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but especially with the way their defense has been playing of late. Yeah. I mean, that team has really got exposed against Oregon.
Absolutely, yes, they did. And contrarily, as we're winding this down and talking about the details, I mean, how big would this be a win for ASU on the road against USC? Oh, one of the darlings of the conference. Have you? I mean, not doing it this season, but how huge would this be?
If they can pull this game out, I think this will. I mean, really shut everybody up as far as. Todd Graham. Todd Graham's performance. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, people. Okay.
Oh, they think it is, because they can do it on a computer game. They think that you can do it in real life.
Exactly. So I mean, this is something that Todd Graham. I mean, it's a process. It really is. But a big step in that process would be a road win over the Trojans.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And when we get back on our next segments here, we're going to be talking more specifically about the USC game. When we get back, we're going to be talking about the Trojan offense. Rhino's going to break down who are their main players, and I'll talk about the big uglies up front. We'll be right back.